week 8, the volume of a solid revolution, volume of solids with known cross-section. Anti sini budlay ni siya kayo tanawon no i-visualize kung 2D lang. Pareho sini may circle and then may slicing kada. Paano mo makita ang volume? Kung sinabi ko ang imong cross section is square, ang cross section mo is triangle without any software nga makakita sini. Kung may nakita man ko nga video na ini gin-represent niya mga astahon pa lang sa mga 2 minutes plus ang iyang presentation, at least may visualization kita kung paano ni siya na anong bot silingon nga finding the volume sang solid with known cross section, because ini 2D lang, top view niya ni idalon ta siya karon sa front view or sa side view o sa pictorial view kung ano ang representation sinisang siling nga volume sang square sa amoning cross section. Okay, may-ari naman di video.
Hey everyone, this is Mr. A. I'd like to talk with you today about calculating volumes of solids that are formed by known cross-sections. So there's a little picture here of kind of what I'm talking about. To give you a better idea, let me just pop over to GeoGebra. So I've got the graph of y equals x squared and y equals the square root of x. And of course we can see they intersect at 0, 0 and 1, 1. Now a very popular question on the AP exam or just in calculus in general is to perhaps take this region formed by these two curves and maybe revolve it around the x-axis so we create a solid of revolution that way. Or we could revolve it around the y-axis to create a solid of revolution that way. Or we could choose some random axis, maybe x equals 1.5 and revolve it around that axis, and that would create another solid of revolution. But there's another way to build a solid off of this intersection here. So what we can do is, instead of thinking about revolving it, we can think about building on top of it. So this little purple line here, right, this intersection, this vertical slice, if I drag this slider along, you can see that it moves that slice. And on the right hand side of the screen, you can hopefully see that slice moving also in the third dimension, right? Well, technically it's in the second dimension, but we have a third dimension here available to us. So as I move along, you can see that slice kind of running along. And what we can choose to do, instead of revolving that, is we can build, say, a square on top of it. So by taking this section and making it the side of a square, so then all 4 of these sides would be congruent, and that square in this case is perpendicular to the xy plane and perpendicular to the xy axis, so it goes up in the z direction. And now if I move this little slice along, you can see that as I go to the left, my square gets smaller. As I go to the right, my square gets larger and larger. And then at some point, it's going to start to kind of shrink down again as the distance between these curves reduces and ultimately goes back to nothing. Now, if I add some more squares in here, we can start to see what this solid would look like. Right? If we add more and more squares, we can get a sense of what this would be. And we can actually go in here and just kind of move this around a little bit so you can get a feel for it, right? See this kind of a crooked, interesting shape to it. So this is a different solid, right? We can't get this by rotation. This is called cross-sectional area. The cross-section in this case are squares, and each square is just built off of the piece of the curve that it's on. If I go back over here, I can put a few more squares in again, show you a little bit thicker picture, right? Get a little bit more of a filled out version of this solid here. So this is the idea that we're going to look at in this video, using these cross-sectional areas. Square isn't the only way, but this is the first one we're going to start with, and I'll come back here and show you another one as we go through. So let's take a look at a cross-section by squares. So let's say we have the graph of y equals e to the x equals 0, x equals 2. So these are curves that are going to form a region in the first quadrant here. E to the x is going to slope up like that. That, of course, would be the point 0, 1, since it's an exponential function. X equals 0 is just the y-axis, and let's call this x equals 2 over here, this vertical line. So what I'm doing, if I'm taking vertical cross-sections, right, so perpendicular to the x-axis that are squares, is each one of these slices, so I can put a slice there, I can put a slice there, I can put a slice there, and each one of them I'm going to build a square on top of it. Now this is just a two-dimensional graph. If you like, you can kind of picture those squares sort of popping out of the paper like this, and of course as you go to the left, the squares get smaller. And we're going to find the area of these squares and then use integration to add them all up, to accumulate them into the volume of this solid. So the easiest way to think about this, and squares are pretty simple, but I like to take the red line here as the base of my square that's actually in the area of the plane here. And then I build the rest of the shape. So a square just goes up, the other four sides, and they're all congruent. Now, what's the length of this side? Well, since we're just going from the function y equals e to the x down to the x-axis, then the length of that square, the side of the square, is e to the x. Of course, since it's a square, that means all the sides are e to the x, and the area is simply side squared, right? Which means the area of our squares is e to the x squared, which is to say e to the 2x. So every one of these squares, if I pick a point like here on the x-axis, say that's 0.5, right? Well, then e to the 2 times 0.5, or e to the 1, that's going to be the area of that square. If I go to 1, then e to the 2 times 1, or e squared, is going to be the area of that square, and so on and so forth. So to get the volume here, all I need to do is integrate this area, right? So e to the 2x. I'm going to accumulate the value of all of these squares along the x-axis, so with respect to x, from 0 to 2. Right? I'm just going to run that integral right through there. So this should be an easy integral for you to do. Just since we're here, I guess we can just run through it. If you let u equal 2x, then your du is 2 dx. We only have one dx there, so we'll put the 2 in, take the 2 out, and then we can rewrite this as the integral 1/2 of e to the u du. Notice I didn't write the 0 to 2 because the bounds are going to change. Since u is 2x, 2 times 0 is 0, and 2 times 2 is 4. And so that would be our new integral, which we can easily integrate. It's just 1/2 e to the u, and we're going to evaluate that from 0 to 4. 4. So that would be e to the 4th minus e to the 0 over 2, or e to the 4th minus 1 divided by 2. And that's the volume of this that's the volume of this solid that we would get by building up squares on each cross section of this curve, right? So each vertical slice, you build a square onto it, go to the next one, build a square, and if you add all those squares up, of course they're all infinitesimally skinny, right? But you can take the area of each one and integrate to get your volume. All right, so that's integrating with squares perpendicular to the x-axis. But there's nothing that says we only have to use squares. Take a look at this problem here. So now we're going to have these couple of functions, and we're still going perpendicular to the x-axis, but now we're going to use semicircles. So again, just to give you a visual, if I jump back to GeoGebra here, so we'll turn off the squares, and let me just run it back down to 1 for a second. So maybe this time, instead of building squares, we build semicircles. Right? So every place along this function, we can, or every x value, we can grab the difference in these functions, we can use that height, right, to be the diameter of a semicircle, and we can build a circle off of it. Now, there's nothing stopping us from making that a full circle. It could just be a circle instead of a semicircle. The AP exam seems to be partial to semicircles, however. And as we run it along, the semicircles get bigger, just like the squares did, and ultimately they start to shrink back down and get smaller and smaller. And I can build some more of these in here, right, so we can get a sense of what that curve looks like, what that solid looks like. And this one's kind of cool looking. It kind of looks like a fish to me, right, with the little tails coming off in the end there, right? So it's kind of looks like a little fish. And I can add in even some more slices so we can get a little bit more of a robust sense of what this, whoops, sorry about that. A little bit more of a robust sense of what this fish looks like, right? Push that all the way to the end. So here's the little solid that we get by building semicircles onto this region. Okay, so back over here. So we have the graphs of y equals 2x, y equals x squared, and we're going to build semicircles this time. So again, a little sketch goes a long way. We're in the first quadrant again here, right? So y equals x squared, maybe it goes up like that. Y equals 2x, goes up like this. We of course want to know where they intersect, so we can set x squared equal to 2x, which means x squared minus 2x equals 0. Maybe I shouldn't skip that, right? So I'm setting x squared equal to 2x, take 2x away from both sides, they give me x squared minus 2x equals 0. We can factor out that x minus 2 times x, and we get two intersections, or two solutions, x equals 0, x equals 2. So right here at the origin they cross, and right here at the point 2 comma, well, since this is x squared, that's going to be 2 comma 4, right? So this is our 2 on the x-axis, and that'll give us our bounds of integration from 0 to 2. Now again, we're slicing perpendicular to the x-axis, so we could take a slice here, we could take a slice here, we could take a slice here, and everywhere we put a slice, we're going to get these little semicircles coming out of the page, right? So these are coming towards you in reality, right? But we can't draw the 3 dimensions as easily. I'm just drawing it in 2. So imagine these red circles coming, sort of popping off the page towards you. And we want to just find the area of those and then integrate. Alright, so area of a circle, well that's an old chestnut, right? Pi r squared. But do be careful, if it's a semicircle, we don't actually want the area of a circle, we want the area of a semicircle. So that's going to be pi over 2 times r squared. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's see. We've got area equals pi over 2 times the radius squared. Well, what is the radius of each one of these circles? So hopefully you can see we need to take the difference of these two functions, right? The upper function minus the lower function. So the upper function is this linear. That's going to be 2x minus the lower function is the quadratic, x squared. And I'm not quite done because 2x minus x squared is this whole difference, but that's the diameter of the circle. And I actually want the radius, so we're in fact going to simply divide that one more time. All right? Now you can see in the denominator here I've got a 2. It needs to be squared, right? Because this is pi r squared. This whole thing is the radius. We're going to square it. So we could rewrite this as area equals pi over 2 times, let's do it this way. So 2x minus x squared over 4. Right? So if I just break that 2 out there. And the reason I'm doing that is I just want to notice a trend. So I can always take that 4 out of the denominator and kind of bring this all the way to a equals pi over 8 times 2x minus x squared. And notice that this is just the difference in my functions, right? So that is that vertical height there in between the functions. And this is generally going to be true for a semicircle. It's going to be pi over 8 times that vertical height, the diameter, squared. So you might want to hang on to that. It's kind of handy to remember, or you can just go through the simple derivation each time. Now, in order to integrate that, we will need to square this binomial, right? So 2x minus x squared itself squared. That's going to be, let's see, we've got 4x squared minus 2x cubed minus another 2x cubed, so minus 4x cubed plus x to the 4th. Right, so that's that binomial squared, which means when we set up to integrate, we're going to be integrating pi over 8 times the integral of that. Watch your notation here. You want to make sure that you put this in brackets. You don't want to leave it up to the AP graders to decide where to put your dx. So I'm going to bracket off that entire polynomial. I'm integrating that with respect to x. And remember, what that integration is doing is taking the area of these circles at each individual, these semicircles at each individual x, and then multiplying that by the width of the dx, right, of 2. So I'm essentially multiplying those changing circle areas times this distance. And so we'll integrate that from 0 to 2. Now this, of course, you should be able to integrate. If you work that out, you're going to end up with 2 pi over 15 for the volume of that particular cross-sectional area. So far I've looked at two scenarios, one where we form volumes by semicircles, as in this case here, and the previous one where we formed volume by squares, perpendicular. Right? So both are fine, and those are pretty common choices. In fact, if you look back at AP exams over the last 10 years or so, squares is the most common one you're going to see, which is kind of nice because it's the simplest. You simply square the function or whatever the height is. Semicircle is a little bit harder, not too bad. You just got to kind of work through. Remember, you got the diameter. You're going to want to cut it to be the radius. Half of it, if it is a semicircle. If it's a full circle, you go just pi r squared. But another problem that comes up sometimes is equilateral triangles. Right? So in this one here, we have the graphs of y equals e to the x, y equals 0, x to the 0, and we want to create a solid with equilateral triangles. So e to the x again, something like that. X equals 0 right there, and let's call this x equals 1 so we have a little bit of room to work. So here, every time we take a cross section, whether it be there, or up here, we're going to be building equilateral triangles off of it. And of course, as we go to the left, the triangles are going to get smaller, and they'll shrink down to almost 1 here, because again, being exponential, this would be 0, 1, right? And they'll grow up to e to the x. Right? So this is the point 1, e. So before we get into the integration of this problem, let's just take a look back at my GeoGebra applet one more time. And let me bring this back down to just 1. And instead of semicircles, let's look at equilateral triangles now. So here you can see, as I slide that cross section, right, I get equilateral triangles. And the small, they get smaller over here, bigger to the middle, smaller to the end. And if we add in some more, we can start to get a feel of what this shape looks like. All right, we can go in here and kind of manipulate this a little bit. This one's kind of a neat looking one. It sort of almost looks like the back of a chameleon or something, right? See how it's kind of spiky and pointy along the edge? It's got this really interesting angular shape to it. I let that spin a little. I add some more triangles here so we can get a sense of what it looks like when you fill it in. Right, so there's that solid of equilateral triangles. Really neat looking one, I think. Right, and of course flat on the bottom because you're just building out of that area. So if we jump back over here now, let's figure out how to compute the area of this. Now for this we're going to need to know the area of an equilateral triangle. Well, let's start with this. Each one of those red lines, right, is the cross section. So that's that piece there, and then I have the equilateral triangle kind of built up on top of it. So let me take a pause and just bring you back to a quick geometry lesson. So let's talk about equilateral triangles for a minute. In an equilateral triangle, of course, all the sides are the same. So I could call them like x, x, and x, but I'm not going to do that. And the reason I'm not going to do that will become clear to you in just a moment. I'm in fact going to call them 2x. All right, that guy's 2x and that guy's 2x. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. So if I make this a little bit larger, great. So the reason I'm calling those 2x is because what I'm going to do is drop an altitude right down the center of this triangle. So that'll be a right angle down there. Now that's important because think about the area of a triangle, right? How do you find area of a triangle in general? You got to think area is 1/2 the base times the height. So in order to get a base and a height, I need perpendicular lines. I need to have two different dimensions. So the base I know, right? The base is 2x, which makes 1/2 of the base x. And this is part of why I wanted to make that 2x for the sides and not just x, right? Now, if you remember your geometry, then you'll recognize that this is a special right triangle. That is to say, it is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Using this, we can figure out what this side is. Now, if you don't remember your 30, 60, 90, we'll just make another quick aside and use the Pythagorean theorem. So if this is x and this is 2x, then of course, whatever this leg is, it must be true that that leg squared plus x squared equals 2x squared, which means that the leg squared plus x squared equals 4x squared, which gets us the leg equal to solving the square root of 4x squared minus x squared, which is to say 3x squared, which reduces to x rad 3. Now that's a really important result. Look what we got there. The leg was simply x times the square root of 3. And notice what x is. X is the side across from the 30. It's that side that's 1/2 the base of the triangle. And that makes this side over here x rad 3. So if we plug that into our formula, area is 1/2 base times height, well, that would be area equals 1/2 the base is 1/2 of 2x, right? The height is x, which I'm going to write in a little bit of a funny way. I'm going to write it as this, 1/2 2x, right? So 1/2 2x right there, that's x, which is x, and x times the square root of 3 is the height of the triangle. Do you see where I'm getting this from? Right? So I'm working through and I'm saying, all right, 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 the base, that's 1/2 2x. Easy, nothing going on there. This 1/2 2x3, 1/2 times 2x is just x, times radical 3, that is what the height of this triangle is. And if you pull all of this stuff together, what you get is that the area of an equilateral triangle is 1/2 times 1/2 times radical 3, which is to say radical 3 over 4 times, remember 2x is the side of the triangle, so times the side squared. And this is going to work for every equilateral triangle. Now you can certainly go through this derivation every time that you have to do a problem like this. If you remember your 30, 60, 90 triangle, then it's much faster because you know that whatever's across from the 30, this is simply x rad 3. If you have to use Pythagorean theorem, it'll take a little bit longer. Or you can remember this equation. Now it's not that tough to remember because it's an area, so it's not unreasonable to see a number squared, right? So it turns out you take the side of the triangle and you square it, but you have to apply this sort of correction factor of rad 3 over 4. Right? So if you hang on to that, that can be really handy. So back to the problem we're looking at right now. This time we have the function, what is it? Y equals e to the x, right? So all of these bases of my triangles, these guys right here, here, and here, are always e to the x. So that's the base of the triangle. That means that if we use that little formula we just came up with, the area of the triangle is going to be radical 3 over 4 times the side, e to the x, squared, right? Which is going to be radical 3 over 4 times, we talked about this earlier, e to the x squared is e to the 2x. And that's going to be the area of any one of my triangles. Now, I'll just take you through it, so if you want to see how to come up with that on your own, if I take this triangle and I divide it in half, right? So that's my 30, 60, 90. then this piece right here is going to be e to the x over 2. So this is e to the x over 2. This side is whatever's here times rad 3. So that's rad 3 e to the x over 2. To find the area of the original triangle, it's 1/2 base times height, but this is 1/2 the base, so it's simply that times that, which is base times height. So I have e to the x over 2 times radical 3 e to the x over 2, and you can see pretty quickly there, that's where you get your radical 3 over 4, e to the x times e to the x, or e to the 2x. So it's not really a long process if you want to go through this. If you don't want to rely on your memory to have to, recall that rad 3 over 4 piece, don't worry about it. It doesn't take a long time to come up with it, but if you got a good memory or you got room in there, it's handy to have in your back pocket, because then you can jump right to that area formula. So once we know the area of each triangle, then this is a simple problem to solve. We're just going to integrate this area. So rad 3 over 4 we can pull out because it's a constant. We have e to the 2x. With respect to x, because we are accumulating these triangles as we move along the x-axis, right? Each point on the x-axis gives us a different triangle. We want to add all those areas up together, and we'll integrate that from 0 to 1. This is that same integral I did last time, right? So in the last problem we had, nope, 2 problems ago, sorry. We had, u is 2x, du is 2 dx. We put the 2 in, pull the 2 out. So this just becomes 1/2 the integral e to the u du. So maybe we'll just use that, right? So it's rad 3 over 8 now, because it was 1/2 the integral of e to the u du. And again, watch those bounds. U is 2x, right, in this substitution. So that means 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1 is 2, and those would be the bounds we're working with. So we end up with, let's see, oops, I missed my pen there. So we end up with rad 3 over 8 times e squared minus e to the 0. And we can break that down to rad 3 times e squared minus 1 over 8. And there's our volume of this cross-section by equilateral triangle cross-sections. Okay. So hopefully that helps you with this topic. Again, it's really not bad once you get the handle of it. All you're doing is taking the height of the function, or in a problem like this, the difference in heights of two functions, and that's serving as perhaps the side of a square, serving as perhaps the diameter of a circle, serving as perhaps the base of an equilateral triangle. And of course, there's nothing stopping you from making rectangles or trapezoids or right triangles. They can give you, in theory, any shape they want, but all you need to do is build up the area of one of those shapes and then simply integrate that area along the appropriate axis and appropriate bounds. So I hope you found that helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments, or if you're in my class, you can just ask me. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Example, there is example 8.1 sa inyong module. Suppose we are asked to find the volume of a solid whose base is the circle. Kung ma-imagine nyo, 2D ni siya na representation. Ang base niya is circle. But, ang iyang equation kung ang circle is x squared plus y squared equals to 4. And where perpendicular cross-sections are all squares whose sides lie on the base of the circle, how would you find the volume? Kung i-rotate ta ni siya, while ko galing sa software, no? Kung i-side view ta ni siya or i-pictorial view, ang square kay top view man ni siya, lantaw naton. Makita naton nga ang square nga ma-generate sa amo ni nga side sa sininga point is amo ni kadako. Pasaka abi. Kung diri naman ang aton nga slice, diri dampi gamay na nga square na matamat padako hasta ang pinakadako niya is ari sa center. Dason nga matamat naman pagamay hasta nga diri. Ang mga squares nga ma-form niya. So ano karon ang volume? I-compute natin ang volume sang sina nga object kung ang aton nga slice is paamo sinino square siya abi all throughout from left to right. Okay, siling sang inyo nga handouts diri medyo may corrections lang ko di because why siya nagsanto sa original nga kon ari ang original nga ano ni nga explanation sa libro, no. So, siling din, what this problem is telling us is that every time we make a vertical slice, every time nga maghimo kita kuno vertical slice, the slice is the length of the base of a square. Imagine nyo lang, ang bisan din ka magtulok sa sina nga slice, ang side niya na palariho gid tungod kay square siya. If we want to find the volume of the solid, all we will do is integrate the area of the square from one endpoint of the circle to the other. So ang limiting point naton karon is from negative 2, kung nag-intersect di siya sa negative 2 along x-axis kag positive 2, ang limit of integration naton is from negative 2 to 2. Okay? But ang side sa square, diri na lang ta sa sining explanation, no? The side of the square is the vertical slice whose length is 2y. Paano ni siya nag 2y? Ang y ni nga distance is ini. This is amo ni siya ang aton nga, di ba, may equation ni ang circle. Ang ini siya nga distance is y. So therefore, kay tungod ang square naton halin di sa babaw pakadto sa dalom, ang iya sining length is 2y. Bali 2 ka y. So this amo ni siya ang representation sa 2y. And then which we can find by solving the equation of the circle for y. Halin di sa iyang equation which is x squared, okay na, x squared plus y squared equals to 4. Kung i-transpose natin, wag ipabilin ang y sa left side, makakuha kita mo sa amo nga equation. We get y is equals to square root of 4 minus x squared. So ang ginhimo niya is from x squared plus y squared is equals to 4. Pabilin tadi ang y squared lang una, this is 4 minus x squared, such that y, kung count ang square root, is 4 minus x squared. So muna ang aton nga expression sa y equals to square root of 4 minus x squared. Then the length of the side of the square is 2 times y, and because y is equals to square root of 4 minus x squared, ang 2 times square root of 4 minus x squared is ang isa natin 2y. Because the area of the square is side squared, okay, we can find the volume by from limit negative 2 to positive 2 side squared. Ang ginhimo niya diri is because ang side naton is 2 times square root of side is equals to 2 times square root of 4 minus x squared, balik na siya, and then square nato ni siya, therefore side squared is equals to square naman na siya, 2 times square root of 4 minus x squared. Okay, and this is equals to ano siya, 2 times 2 is equals to 4, and then ang square root, kung square na ito becomes 4 minus x squared. As is lang, pero y na square root sign. So kung i-expand na ito, this is 16 minus 4x squared. So ini siya nga expression is ano siya, side squared. Okay, so slinya di by integral of negative 2 to positive 2 of the quantity 16 minus 4x squared dx. So kung i-perform natin ang integration kuno sini, makakuha kita sa by the way, ini ang sa inyo nga handouts, screenshot nyo lang niyo ang sa right side because amo ni siya ang eksakto. Diri y tani ang squared, dason ini siya y ni tani siya sang integral sign. May typographical error lang ang module na ito ng handout. So, amo ni siya, screenshot nyo ang iyang process o sakto na procedure. Pero ang answer nila pa rin, 128 over 3. Okay, so, muna ang solution sa volume. Ang volume niya is 100 over 3 cubic units. Next, may-ari pagid ko no. Pwede man nga ang aton nga cross-section is equilateral triangle. Instead nga square, equilateral triangle, kagintagaan kita sa formula. Ang area karon sa triangle is atong side, no? kay tungod equilateral siya, busin nga pariho man ang length ng sides ng triangle. So, kuha ka lang isa ka side, square mo, and then i-multiply mo sa square root of 3 over 4. Ang sabi. Given the diameter of a semicircle, the area is semicircle naman, diameter squared times pi over 8. Sa inyong geometry lang na siya. No? And then, kung pangitaon mo isosceles right triangle naman, ang area niya is, kung given ang hypotenuse, nga square and then divide sa 4. And also, this is the geometry nga formula. And then, example 8.2, use the same solid as before, except this time the cross-sections are equilateral triangle. Hari lang, screenshot nyo lang niya mo na yung saktong solution sa problem 8.2. Dire, use the same base as example 8, except this time the cross-sections are equilateral triangle. Kung equilateral siya, we find the side of the triangle just as we did above. It is 2y. Okay? 2y ng Japon because instead nga square, bali ang gwa yes na iya kay ina kung tanaw-ta mo ni ang gin-slice naton and then pasang kaabi siya square equal ang iyang side. Dito ni siya sa circle abi. Example lang circle na siya. Square ang. Pero kung ano siya, kung equilateral triangle, kung amo ni siya ang circle, amo ni ang iya nga side, so ini nga side, ang pataaso pa siya, duga amo ni tsura yabi. Sa iya pictorial view. Na triangle naman siya. So ining side, kay equilateral pareho. So kung damo sila, dire gamay naman yung triangle, dire gamay naman yung triangle. So ano ang total niya nga volume? So sa linya D, we can find the volume by evaluating the integral. So gamiton tani kung equilateral triangle, side squared times square root of 3 over 4, amo ni siya, ginpagwaya lang galing square root of 3 over 4, still the same ang limit from negative 2 to 2. And then, ang yung y is 2 times square root of 4 minus x squared multiplied by square root of 3 over 4. Okay, side squared, balian mo na siyang formula niyo. Side squared times square root of 3 over 4. We can find the volume by evaluating, ano siya karon, 4 minus x squared, nga may 4 pa di because hindi nga side is square mo, so 2 squared is 4. And then madula ang square root sign, 4 minus x squared. Kaging pagwaya lang ang square root of 3 over 4 by using this formula. So after evaluating and establishing limit, substitute siya ang limit, nakakuha siya sa 32 times square root of 3 over 3. Reviewhan nyo lang, no? Para nga may ideya ka. Total, ari man yung screenshot nyo. Yan na solution. Ay kung kisa diri sa handouts may mga typographical error. Okay, so that's it. Ano ko din? Example 8.3, like naman, find the volume of the solid that results when the region bounded by the curve y equals 16 minus x squared and the curve y 16 minus x is rotated about the x-axis. Use the washer. Nagbalik lang ni ang problem sa akong itong washer nga problem. Isang nagdigad, no? So, anyway, amo ni siya kung ng iyang representation. May isa ka ka curve, y equals 16 minus x squared. Pag isa ni ka curve, ang line, y equals to 16 minus 4x, gin-revolve niya about the, silingati, x-axis. Nagbalik lang siya sa washer. So, ang formula naton sa washer naton, may dako kita nga r, may gamay nga r, ang dako nga r, ari ang sa upper nga function, no? Ang gamay nga area, ini sa lower nga function. So, ang formula tato nagligad, ang volume is pi r squared h, where ang h naton, ang height is dx, that is from, ang limit nga ma-establish from a to b. So, diri, kung ang slice naton is vertical, so, ang r naton is, ang y, 16 minus x squared, ang small letter r is ang 16 minus r squared, where ang aton yung h, ang height, is from 0 to sa iyang intersection. Ang hinimo yan di pangita yan ay ang intersection. We know nga ang intersection is just kung diin nag-equal ang y. So gin-equate niya nga ang duha ka y, 16 minus 4x ka 16 minus x squared. So nakita ya di nga ang x may duha ka value which is 0, yung point, and then ini siya. Clearly it is equals to 4 based diri sa iyang graph. Pero kung gin-calculate natin ang intersection point using this method, so nakita ka x equals to may duha ka value 0 and x equals to 4. And then kung i-substitute natin sa aton tong formula which is total volume is pi times the integral from, ang limit natin is of course from 0 to 4 because ang iyang slicing sini is paamo ni, di ba? So kung i-expand ta siya, this is dx. Muna nga nagamit ni siya dx. So ang upper r is 16 minus x squared, amo ni siyang y. O y1 abi ni, 16 minus x squared. But since sa formula natin, i-square natin ang r, so muna nga may square pa din siya. Minus ang small letter r na bali ang ini nga part diri bali ang ini nga part is ang aton na capital R kag ini nga part is small letter r. Then amo na kung i-evaluate mo ni hapos na lang i-evaluate ano sa volume. Don't forget to write the unit cube or pwede man cubic units. Another scenario with the same function 16 minus x squared kag 16 minus 4x is to revolve the region about the y-axis and use the cylindrical shell method. Okay? So bali amo naman niya karon ang wa niya. Kung ang kaina ang ini nga duwa ni gin-revolve mo siya about the x-axis diri ang rotation. Amo ning wa ya, mo ning pair niya abi padalong kung i-revolve mo siya paamo. Pero kung i-revolve mo ini naman nga area ang sa babaw ni, i-revolve mo siya diri sa y-axis, amo naman ning wa niya. Okay, so using cylindrical shell method, ano naman ang atong mga formula? Ang formula niya is 2 pi naman. 2 pi, amo ni. Sa babaw-babaw sa handouts naton sa cylindrical shell, amo naman ni 2 pi x kung nagamit ka di dx, pero kung nagamit ka di y, dy I mean, ang variable of integration, 2 pi y naman. And then this one is fy minus gy. So, ma-set up yun din na equation using sang sining nga figure na gin-revolve niya sa y-axis sa y-axis and the use of cylindrical shell is, remember, 2 pi ha? 2 pi times anong iyang limit diri from 0 to 4 because ang iyang slicing naman diri is nag-slice di siya vertical pero ang iyang movement is diri sa y. So expect ka nga ang ang formula is 2 pi r times h sa aton nga cylinder. So ang ini nga formula 2 pi x linya, this is the formula for finding the volume using cylindrical shell when the region is rotated around the y-axis. Okay? So ang iyang problem diri revolve the region about the y-axis and use the cylindrical shell set up but do not evaluate the integral. So amo na ni iyang formula 2 pi x ginsulod lang di galing ang x no? From 0 to 4 ni siya ang ano nga function ni siya ang 16 minus x squared is the sa babaw and then ang sa dalong is 16 minus 4x upper minus lower multiplied by dx because ang slice naton is ang iyang expansion is along x-axis. Okay? So dx ni siya. Pero ang iyang rotation is diri sa y-axis. So muli ko ng ato nga formula. I-review nyo lang ang sa babaw natin yung mga discussion. Because ang ini nga statement dito ko maniging kuha sa babaw. Sa example 8.5, repeat problem 8.3 but revolve the region about the x-axis, use the cylindrical shell method. Not all the time nga siling ko kaina nga ang cylindrical shell ara sa y. Okay? Pwede man siya maka-revolve around the x-axis, pero tanawon ta kung ano ang ilang difference. Dire ang gingamit niya is simpre dy because ang iya sining slicing karon is horizontal, no? So ang expansion niya is along y among aton nga dy. So because dy ang aton nga variable of integration, dapat ang tanan ding nga variable i-express naton siya sa y. Okay? Because ang original is y equals to 16 minus x squared. Pangitaon naton dapat ang x para nga ang function nga ari sa sulod diri in terms of y. So paano naton pangitaon ang y or ang x I mean. So from the given y equals to 16 minus x squared, amo ni kung pangitaon ta ang x, siyempre i-transpose na siya sa left and then ang y transpose naton sa right kagkwaon ang square root. So this becomes x equals to square root of 16 minus y. So maintindihan nyo naman na buro. Sa isa ka function which is y equals to 16 minus 4x, kwaon naton ang x, so transpose naton ang 4x diri sa piyak, ang y transpose naton sa right side, so 16 minus y. But since may coefficient ang x nga 4, i-divide naton sa 4 para makuha naton ang values ng x lang gauge. So 16 minus y divided by 4. Amo ni siya ang expression naton nga i-substitute. So 16 minus y sa upper, okay, 16 minus y sa upper ang square root I mean, minus ang lower, and then ang aton nga variable of integration is dy. So bali, nag-cylindrical shell ka pero ang rotation mo is x-axis. Kalabanan sa cylindrical shell, okay, ang katabo man lang diri ni sila naglainay, you know. Ang kaina to ya x dx. Dason ang mga variables diri in terms of x man. Pero kung mag-dy ka na, depende sa imong nga given sang problem kung anong ginapangayo niya, dapat y ka naman dito by y and then tanan mo din nga variable sa sulod in terms of y naman. Remember, upper minus lower kag right minus left yung function. So this is our volume using cylindrical shell method. So cubic units or units cube. Okay, ang ibang ding example, rotation about y-axis, tagihan nyo lang, naglain man lang na siya sa pag-represent sa r, pag-represent sa right minus left, upper minus lower, kag kung anong method, washer, disc, or cylindrical shell. Now, ang isa niya nga example, may ari sa rotation which is not at the x-axis or the y-axis. Ang katabo nga ang rotation niya para sa y equals to minus 3. Kung tanawon mo ang volume nga ma-generate niya is do hindi iya nagtabo, no, unlike diri nagtabo sila sa isa ka point pag rotate mo diri hindi why sila nagtabo. So ang ginahimo nila is just to add sa r. Kung ang r nimo is mo nga set up ka ina ma-plus 3 ka lang kung y equals to minus 3. Okay? So mo nang ginahimo yun 16 minus x squared nag plus 3 lang di siya. Because pi ang guaya sini is pi r squared into ni r squared times ano siya na h. And then to slice the region horizontally, use cylindrical shell. Dy naman siya in terms of ang kanang variable diri is y. But ang y diya di nga pares tungod kay may shift man kita sang y nag-add siya 3 y plus